Hey, everybody, welcome to the DBC Inc. Facebook Live Thursday, free professional development. And man, do we have a special one for you tonight. We have the man himself, Matt Miller, in the house, all the way here from Indiana. And so, as you are hopping in to join us, make sure you throw your name in over on the side there. Tell us where you're from, what your role is, maybe, and say hello. And everyone who enters a little comment into the side there, we're going to be able to put your name into a drawing to win one of Matt's books. And man, do you have a lot of options to win when we talk about Matt's books. This guy is a prolific writer, as we'll talk about briefly here. And Kristen, number one, look at you. Look at that.
Nobody's
Happy,
surprised.
yeah,
There she is. That's awesome.
happy to see Matt. Look at how many exclamation marks that gets.
That's a
Love it.
lot. Yeah, that's true.
Sean is here. Hey, Sean, thanks for joining us. Tara Martin, I remember when she used to host this show. I don't know what
Who
happened
is
to
that?
her.
She looks familiar. I don't know.
Yeah, she used to host this show, but I took over now. She's
Yeah.
been replaced. Um, and this is Jeff. Jeff, hey Jeff, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the shout out to Tech Like a Pirate. Really appreciate that.
And we got the IU football logo in there too. So he's a fellow Hoosier. So representing from the Hoosier state. Love it.
Oh man, Indiana. Yeah,
Right?
awesome. So again, throw your comment over there. Let us know where you are joining us from and enter to win one of Matt's books. And so we are so happy that you are joining us, whether it's live right now or on the playback. Either way, make sure you throw your comment in there. And so without any further ado, Matt, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. I mean, starting to cool down here in Indiana a little bit. The leaves are starting to change. I've got my hooded sweatshirt on, my Teach Like a Pirate hoodie since it's getting to be fall, Life is good. So it's good to be on the show.
Yes, it's nothing like that hoodie once we get into this fall and winter weather. That's right. The representing. I get teased a lot because basically my wardrobe has now just become author swag.
Yeah.
It's like I have nothing. And speaking of that, Matt, I think I do need to talk to you about getting some new author swag. I mean, it's been a while since I've updated my ditch book collection shirts and all.
I remember I sent you a yellow Ditch That Textbook t-shirt like 7 years ago or something. So I think it's definitely time for me to send you some new stuff. I got a couple of options I can send your way.
All right. Well, as soon as you send them, they're going to show up in an IG picture somewhere.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, we'll definitely make that happen.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, so Matt is one of the OGs. Matt is one of the original authors of Dave Burgess Consulting Incorporated with his absolutely incredible book, Ditch That Textbook. I'll tell you a little backstory on that. I can remember sitting in a hotel room talking to Matt on a Google Hangout, and Matt was speaking at a conference in Indiana, and I was the keynote speaker at that conference. And afterwards, we connected around talking about Matt and his speaking career and all that kind of stuff. And I said, Matt, you gotta write a book. Mm-hmm. And Matt said, but you don't understand. My brand is Ditch That Textbook. Like this is going to be nothing but a joke. Everyone's going to be like making fun of me because the Ditch That Textbook guy has a book. And so, but we talked it out, and I'm so happy you signed with DBC Inc. and put Ditch That Textbook into the world.
Yeah. And you know what I remember about that conversation too? I remember you saying you need to write a book. And one of the other things that I said about that is I said, well, who's going to publish me? I don't have any connections in the publishing industry or anything. And you go, I'll do it. Because, there wasn't anything other than Teach Like a Pirate at the time. I think Pure Genius by Don Wettrick came out pretty soon after that, and Learn Like a Pirate by Paul Solars. And then there was P is for Pirate. Yeah. And then I was next with Ditch That Textbook. So it was something that I didn't expect, but it was a wonderful experience. And here we are again today. So
yeah, so that puts you as one of the first 5 books.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's definitely OG status.
That is definitely, you are in the first 5. That is definitely OG status. Ditch That Textbook. Matt has also written Ditch That Homework, co-authored with Alice Keeler. Mm-hmm. Matt has also written Do More with Google Classroom, which he has published on his own line of DBC Inc. books, the Ditch Book line. And of course, he has co-authored Don't Ditch That Tech, right? And then he has also the author of Tech Like a Pirate. And for a long time, I was trying to get Matt to write Tech Like a Pirate. We finally got him on board, and it's a spectacular book. And so, Matt, you got quite a lineup.
You know what I remember you saying for the longest time? You said, with Ditch That Textbook, I've always kind of felt like if there was a Tech Like a Pirate, that Ditch That Textbook would be it. And then a few years ago, we got another one of those Google Hangouts, and you're like, Matt, listen, you got to write Tech Like a Pirate. So There we go. We ended up with the actual thing.
Yeah. It's really a perfect combination because anyone who has seen me speak knows that I am like the ultimate low tech speaker. Basically, you see me for a 90-minute keynote, you're seeing one slide. That's it. It's going to be up there the whole time I'm speaking. And, maybe it has to go over a 3-hour presentation for it to be more than one slide for me. And I'm not very good at ed tech. Don't know much about it. I've always kind of struggled with it. And your wizardry in ed tech combined with some of the pirate ideas is just like the perfect combination, like the perfect storm, and really filled out a gap in the line. So we appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. Real quick on that idea, I always love to tell this story whenever I do professional development about Tech Like a Pirate. If I do like a full day workshop at a school, I'll always say, my start with all of this pirate stuff came back in 2013 when I got my copy of Teach Like a Pirate, and I got it for my birthday. Like I actually asked for Teach Like a Pirate for my birthday because we didn't have professional development money for books, and we were on a one teacher salary. That was the only way I was going to get the book. And after that, I started seeing all these ideas. And of course, where did my brain go? Oh, I could do that with technology. Oh, I could do that with technology. Started brainstorming, and 8 years later, out comes Tech Like a Pirate. So there you go.
Yeah, and only a teacher would be able to understand that asking for a professional development book for your birthday. And that's what we do, right?
Right. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. Well, so Matt, one of the things that we love to do on Thursdays is have teachers walk away with some stuff, some ideas, some things that they can use, some stuff to think about, some stuff to reflect on. And so what have you brought to the table for us tonight?
Yeah, so I was going to give you a couple of quick things to chew on. I've got a couple of slides that I'll put up if that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and share that over so Dave can put those up there. One of the things that I saw through the pandemic was that, you obviously had a lot of people who were kind of like wrestling with technology. Zoom calls were still sort of a brand new thing for a lot of people. But as they started to kind of get the hang of it a little bit, the news starts to come out and everybody starts talking about learning loss. First of all, I think that's the most absurd term in the world, learning. How can you lose something that you never had? And you hear about COVID-19 impacting student performance and disruptions to schooling because of the pandemic and everything. But you could also hear this small voice. I would hear it in social media a lot of times. It wouldn't be at the top of the headlines, but it would sound like this. Some of my students are thriving. Some of my kids are doing really well. I'm doing things I never would have done, and they're working. It was incredible to see how educators really stepped up, especially when, with all of the hurdles that we had to cross. And so what I started to see was that there are parts of all of this that people wanted to keep, that they really, decided that after all of this stuff settles down, I'm going to hang on to all of this. And so I was curious, what parts of pandemic era remote teaching will you keep? And what do we, Dave, you're the same way. What do we do when we're curious about something? We put it out on Twitter, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I put it out there, and you can see on that graphic right there, I got lots and lots of responses. Of course, a lot of those were also me responding back going, oh, that's a great idea. But hundreds of replies. And so I kind of went down through them and figured out the 4 main things that people were talking about. So I thought I'd go through those with you real quick. Here's the first one. I would hear people say, I've finally gotten used to Zoom, and I really like the chat. I like being able to engage with students in the chat, but I don't think I can do a Zoom call whenever kids are there live. And the truth is, yeah, you don't want to do that. It's a bandwidth hog. It takes up lots of internet. It's just kind of unnecessary. but you don't have to use Zoom chat to be able to have a back channel chat like you did on Zoom. So you've got lots of possibilities, like you've got back channel chat, for instance, is one. If you just go to backchannelchat.com, it's almost like Zoom chat. And so it's interesting to see how teachers are starting to incorporate that, because what does it do? It means that everybody has kind of like an equal voice. You don't have to just be hearing from the kids that raise their hands. And so it kind of opens things up for everybody. So that's definitely one thing that people really liked. The next one is online whiteboards. These really came to the forefront in the pandemic because we only had just a couple of options, and then they really started to flourish. And what people really like about them is that you don't have to have just your Promethean board or your smart board up at the front and the teacher's the only one who gets to draw. No, that's teacher centered. You know, we want student centered. And so every kid gets a whiteboard and everybody's able to see it. And so we're able to kind of like interact back and forth in that way. And it opens things up for the whole class. So you've got lots of possibilities when it comes to that. Jamboard, whiteboard.fi, whiteboard.chat, OneNote. In fact, if you're a user of one of these, would you drop it in the chat and just let us know which ones which one you're most likely to use? So that's definitely one thing that people have been doing.
And Matt, before you go on there, I know that you have a course on Jamboard. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. In fact, if you want to go to ditch.teachable.com, you can go check that out. It's a course that it's got a whole bunch of downloadable Jamboard templates. It's got tutorial videos, all sorts of resources that can kind of help you level up your Jamboard usage. So yes, glad that you mentioned that. All right. So number 3 has to do with social emotional check-ins. And this is something that, of course, during the pandemic got to be a really important thing because, you know, students are displaced. They're not at school. They don't get to see their friends face to face in the same way. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and making sure that you know that kids are okay and just checking in with them and giving them the opportunity to tell you things that they might not volunteer otherwise became huge. And so as teachers started to see how these became a normal part of their class, they're going, I got to keep doing this after the pandemic. I loved how Rachel Hansen did this on Twitter. She shared this example. She just had students do first name, last name. How are you feeling today? Mark all that apply. I'm great. I'm doing okay. I'm stressed out. And then she just asked, is there anything else you'd like to tell me? If not, you can leave it blank. They can do it in a matter of just like a minute or two, and boom, you move on, and you've got all of this information about your kids that is super, super helpful. And then here's the last one, student choice. You know, with the pandemic, you had to give students things that they could do from home. And whenever they were doing a lot of this stuff on their own, there was a lot of opportunity for student choice, especially if they were doing things online. They can go, you know, research or write about or create about just about anything. And so students being able to pick, you know, what is the focus of this broader topic that I like, or what's my own unique twist on this, or whatever, you know, it's given them, it's kind of like opened a lot of teachers' eyes to see how that choice can really happen. So anyway, that's, those are some of the things that I've seen that, you know, teachers have really adopted during remote teaching that have been really pretty cool.
Yeah. And so what I love about that is I have definitely heard some teachers talk about that they have seen a certain population of student flourish during this time.
Yeah.
And I think what happens in the face-to-face classroom sometimes is it's dominated by the blurter outer of answers, the hand raisers, the fast processors, the extroverts, the class clowns. And there's a whole group of students who are following along and have incredible stuff to share, but they either have maybe anxiety around speaking in front of their peers. Yep. Maybe they're a little slower to process, need a little more time. Maybe they're introverted, whatever it might be that's holding them back, they're not sharing in our classes. And now we've seen through some of these other strategies that you're mentioning ways that we can empower all voices in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're exactly right. You know, when I was teaching high school Spanish, just face to face, I used a back channel, kind of like Zoom chat or back channel chat or whatever. And I used it to engage my students when we were face to face. And the most incredible thing happened. I had this one girl, I actually write about this in Ditch That Textbook. I had this one girl who was very quiet, shy, never said anything in class, but you kind of could tell, it's, how it's like still waters run deep. Like you knew there was some really cool stuff going on in that brain of hers, but I never got to hear it until we did a chat like that. And I just opened it up during class. Students were typing on their keyboards while we were all sitting there face to face together. And some teachers might look at that and go, this is really weird. Are we really like communicating back and forth with our keyboards in a face-to-face setting like this? Which would of course make me go, have you ever seen kids text somebody right next to them because they want to say something that their parents can't hear? Like this is a normal thing for them. This is not uncomfortable for them. And she started commenting and she had some really insightful stuff to say. And I was so impressed. I'm going, oh my goodness, I've got to keep doing this. So it doesn't surprise me that people loved that Zoom chat for those very reasons. Just like you said, Dave, that it really sort of equalizes everybody's voice. It gives everybody the opportunity to participate. So super cool.
And so let's be honest here. How many of us have had back channels during conference sessions, during keynotes, during Zoom professional developments or staff meetings?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, if you don't think that I was in a back channel during some staff meetings, you'd be wrong, right? I mean, like I've definitely back channeled during some of these things. Or you're sitting in a conference session and maybe you even have people in other conference sessions and you're sharing out like, oh, hey, like get over here. In fact, I can remember this happening in an NCSS conference. I was sitting in a boring session and I'm getting messages from like Michael Matera and a couple other people about some guy named Quinn Rollins.
Oh, really?
And his presentation. And I left my session, went over, caught the end of Quinn Rollins' session, ended up talking to him about doing a book. I was so impressed. And that's where Play Like a Pirate came from. So we seen him present at a conference. And so, yeah, those back channels, they're definitely a thing even for us adults, right?
Yeah, that's right. That led to me and Quinn being the Yellow Pirate Book brothers.
That is right. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, now that we've gotten through those, I was wondering, Dave, if we've got a couple minutes where I could give away some free stuff to your viewers.
You certainly can, Matt. But first, I'm a little concerned about this message from Tara right here.
Oh no, Tara, what are you doing?
So Tara, you are back channeling during DBC Inc. staff meetings?
Oh my goodness.
Now, it's
I
a
hope
pretty
it was
small,
good.
It's a pretty small staff. So you just probably gave away who it might be because, I mean, there's only a few of us. So I'm going to have to do a little research on this.
Yeah.
All right. So Matt, you are the king of giveaways. By the way, if you are not on Matt's email list, which I'm sure he's going to tell you about, make sure you get on it. It is absolutely incredible. And to be honest with you, sometimes I just want to like call up Matt and say, Matt, you are giving away too much stuff.
Yep.
But here we go. Matt, take it away. What are they going to get tonight?
Well, you mentioned the email newsletter. First of all, by the way, if you look closely enough on my website, there's a page, I can't remember exactly where it is, where I even say the words, we're generous to a fault. Like that's just kind of like part of my brand at this point. But yeah, actually right over here on the screen, I think that the end of the URL is getting covered up a little bit by the book. So I'll just tell you what it says. This is my email newsletter that Dave was talking about. It's where, full screen and doesn't even help it. How about that? But my email newsletter comes out once a week and it's full of lots of practical things you can put into place right away. We're big on creating templates, the kind of stuff that you'd pay like a couple of bucks or like $5 or something on Teachers Pay Teachers for. We're giving that stuff away for free all the time. Lots of ways to use technology in the classroom, just all sorts of practical things that you can apply in class right away. If you're interested in getting in on the email list, go to ditchthattextbook.com/101 is what it says behind the Tech Like a Pirate book. ditchthattextbook.com/101. And what's nice about that is if you sign up for the email list, you get those free ebooks that you see on your screen. So you've got 101 practical ways to ditch that textbook. We've got 101 ways to ditch that textbook with G Suite. So lots of Google focused things. And then you've got 50 free templates for teachers. So it's just like a whole binder full of templates that you can make a copy of and just assign right to your students right away. So lots of good free stuff if you sign up for the email list. So again, that's at ditchthattextbook.com/101. Tara has dropped that into the comments. And then I had one other quick thing to mention. If you like this free video PD, guess what? It is almost that time of year. So it's about time for me to start talking about it again. That would be time for the Ditch Summit. The Ditch That Textbook Digital Summit, which is a free online conference I do every year for teachers. I think I'm going to be in my 6th year doing this. And guess who was one of my guests in the very first year that the Ditch Summit came out?
Could it have been the pirate?
It was the pirate. Yes. This guy right up here above me. Yeah. So Dave was one of my very first guests. In fact, if you want to be able to watch that interview, it's still a part of the summit. So you can just register by going to ditchsummit.com and you just go sign up. The website looks just like what you see on the screen. You sign up with your email address. We'll start sending you email notifications sometime in November or early December to let you know it's coming. And it goes from mid-December through the beginning of January. It's like right around holiday break. And it's got all sorts of great video presentations. You can get certificates of completion for free professional development credits. There are notes that you can download. There's a great Twitter community that goes along with it. I've got a couple of other surprises up my sleeve for it. So definitely something that you want to go check out. So that's at ditchsummit.com. So there you go. There's a couple of free things that your viewers can go check out, Dave.
All right. As usual, you are overdoing it, outdoing yourself. The Ditch Summit is incredible. So the idea that you can even access the back sessions from previous years is just incredible. You could spend the entire time going through sessions. I mean, there's so much there. But go through, look at the menu, look at the options, and no matter what topic that you're interested in, there's going to be something there for you over the last 5-6 years for sure. And of course, the new sessions are sure to be incredible. You always choose great people. So I'm excited to see who all is on the list this year and what sessions you're pulling together. We call it Pajama PD, right? So you can be right there at your house in your pajamas and get free professional development. And so, I mean, it's like the best of the when you put together with the past year sessions, I mean, you would not be able to attend a conference with that much stuff. And the idea that you can access it at your own speed from your own house is just really, and then throw on top the free, like, what are you doing, Matt?
I know. Yep. Hey, it's like, it's my passion. I am thrilled to get to do it. I know that, educators are so burdened with so much stuff. And I just figure in what I am privileged to get to do, that if I can take a little bit of that burden away from teachers and they can use that time and they can spend that time on what matters most, if that's their family, if that's a little bit of self-care or just getting home to rest, kids benefit, educators benefit. If I'm in the position to do it, I feel like I almost have a moral imperative to do it. So I'm thrilled to get to do all of that.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to say hi. Ryan Reed has popped in here. Hi, Ryan. How you doing? Jay Billy from New Jersey has popped in. Karen from Down Under, Australia has popped in. She talked about how Ditch Summit is perfect for their school holidays. It's like great timing for them for the holidays. And Lisa popped in here too. So thank you to all who have jumped in. Make sure you get a comment over there on the side. We're about ready to wrap up here pretty soon. So get your comment in now so that you could possibly win one of Matt's books, right? And then also, even if you're watching on the playback, get it in because we won't choose a winner probably until sometime tomorrow morning. So you still have time to get your comment in there over the side, and we'll do a random drawing to have a winner. Matt, so you gave us the web addresses and all that. If people want to connect with you on social media and all of that kind of stuff, where can they go?
I don't know. I got to start social media. I've never gotten on the bandwagon. I'm just kidding. Yes, I've got lots of places where they can connect with me. So I love Twitter. I tell everybody I can that, you know, Twitter and the people I met there basically saved my teaching career. So Twitter will always have a big place in my heart. You can find me at J Matt Miller. That's at the letter J, Matt with 2 T's. Miller. You can also find Ditch That Textbook on Facebook, on Instagram, and on, I don't know, like all the things. Pinterest. I'm doing TikTok too. I haven't posted any videos for a little while, but I'm definitely out there. So go find me on TikTok at Ditch That Textbook.
Please tell me you're not dancing on there, Matt.
I have done a couple of dances, actually. I did them with my daughter. She was like, we got to try this. And then we recorded it and she's like, post it on TikTok. And I'm like, okay.
I see a couple people have already signed up for the Ditch Summit to be added to the list. That's perfect. Yes. And Kristen has pointed out something, which is right here.
Yes. Thank you, Kristen. That's right. And I know that she's going to be there. Yes. The Ditch Book Twitter chat is tonight. It's going to be starting in just a couple of hours. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And tonight we're actually going to be doing something really fun. We're going to be talking about digital escape rooms. And there is a special digital escape room for tonight's chat. So if you join the chat, you're going to be able to participate in one of those digital escape rooms for free. And you'll walk away with a ton of great free resources. Because remember, that's what we do, is free. Because it's a teacher's favorite price. Free, right?
It is indeed. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. As always, you over-deliver. And make sure you connect with him in all the places. Get over there on Twitter at @JMattMiller. Join the Ditch Book chat. Follow the happenings in that hashtag. The chat is Thursday night, but you can find cool stuff in that hashtag all week, right? The same thing we say about TLAP. And make sure you get over onto the email list. It is I don't know a better email list for you to get on if you're an educator. It's constantly great stuff. And then if you miss Ditch Summit, you're making a big mistake. Ditch Summit is incredible. So make sure you get over into the Ditch Summit and get signed up when that comes out and all the speakers get released. And for everyone who's tuning in tonight, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. Let us know if you have any suggestions, ideas for our Thursday night professional developments. But it's always great to come on here and join you and share some stuff. And so we're wishing you a great end of the week and a fantastic weekend. And so thanks, everybody.
See you later.